might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another week. It is Thanksgiving week. Today is Monday, November 20th, 2023. As we approach Thanksgiving, we are going to get straight into the show. So, thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Tech Coach Ralph, and we are going to do our Coffee and Kata morning show where we're going to review a few news stories and we're going to get into our rock, paper, scissors challenge. So, let's get straight into it. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live, and like the video, share the video, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description and it is pinned to the top of the chat. So we are going to get into our news stories real quick. And let's bring the timer up. And we are going to go for 5 minutes. All right, let's go to our stories. So today we're going to talk about SpaceX's Starship flight exploding. So this was updated 7 hours ago. It says SpaceX launched a second test flight of its unmanned Starship early Saturday, but both the spacecraft and the first stage booster exploded minutes after the launch. The company says communication was lost 15 minutes after the launch from South Texas and the ship apparently self-destructed. SpaceX was quick to call it a successful failure after Starship was able to separate from its booster. The first Starship test flight in April also ended in an explosion a few minutes after liftoff. SpaceX founder Elon Musk wants to use Starship to transport astronauts to the moon and Mars. Separately, a SpaceX Falcon rocket launched 23 Starlink internet satellites from Florida into orbit early Saturday morning. All right. So, and we've reviewed maybe one or two stories in the past on the Bug Bite episode about some spacecrafts exploding shortly after takeoff. It's part of the course. There's not it's a part of testing. As you said, it was a successful failure. They're trying to, it's iterations, it's very expensive failures and iterations, but, sometimes the cost of innovation, it can get up there, but it's part of the plan. And there, at some point, they might have been expecting an explosion, but to see, like, how do you test it? How do you tweak it? How do you get it right? So it's pretty interesting. And they also launched 23 Starlink internet satellites from Florida. That's pretty cool as well. All right, let's move on to our next story. We're going to talk about OpenAI. So this story broke on Friday that Sam Altman was out of OpenAI, but now he joins Microsoft. So updated about 55 minutes ago. Sam Altman, the former chief executive of OpenAI, who was ousted from the company Friday, will join Microsoft to lead a new advanced artificial intelligence research team. The latest head-spinning move comes after a tumultuous weekend of negotiations between Altman and OpenAI's board, said New York Times. Discussion about Altman's possible return were spurred by a backlash from OpenAI investors, including LinkedIn parent Microsoft, after he was abruptly fired. But the parties reached an impasse Sunday on a new governance structure and replacement of the current board, Bloomberg reported, citing anonymous sources. Former Twitch CEO Emmett Shear has been named to replace Altman. Longtime OpenAI executive Mira Murati, who was named interim CEO Friday, will step back into her chief technology officer role, reported Wall Street Journal, citing anonymous sources. Co-founder and former OpenAI president Greg Brockman, who resigned Friday in protest of the news, is also joining Microsoft. Altman's sudden exit, which roiled the tech world, arose from the co-founder's disagreement with board members over the safety and commercialization of artificial intelligence. Altman co-founded the artificial intelligence firm with Tesla CEO Elon Musk and others in 2015, becoming CEO in 2019. OpenAI's ChatGPT was a driving force behind the tech industry's enthusiasm for all things generative AI. So, he is picked up by Microsoft in a interesting weekend of events. When you like when you get out of a particular company, when you have the talent, you will get scooped up very, very quickly. So that is interesting news to see. And let's go to our last story, which is the week of Thanksgiving. So if I don't speak to you for the rest of the week, if you're traveling or whatever the case may be, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. But let's read the story real quick. Thanksgiving travel will be busier. An estimated 55.4 million people are expected to travel over Thanksgiving weekend, according to the AAA or the AAA, whatever they want to call that. AAA, the car company thing. That would be a 2.3 increase from last year and the third busiest Thanksgiving since 2000. About 49 million people will be driving this year, another increase, but getting there will cost less, with the national average price of a gallon of gas expected to fall to $3.25 or lower by Thanksgiving Day, down sharply from $3.57 a year ago. About 4.7 million people are expected to fly over the holidays, the most since 2005, and up 6.6% from 2022. Well, that's very interesting because we always hear about how bad the economy is doing and everything like that. But it looks like people, regardless of that, they still have to travel. And so even when, oh, that's not gonna work. But even when like prices are going up, people still find a way to travel and drive and fly and all that. And I'm pretty sure that Black Friday is going to be packed this Friday as well. So travel plans could be disturbed by rain, snow, and gusty winds in New England, and rain showers extending from Oregon to San Diego. So as far as about the price of gas, I was happily surprised to see the price down here in South Florida was much lower than it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that's always good to see. So anyways, that is our news stories for today. Let's get back to business. All right. So we are going to get into our coding challenge. So we have the rock, paper, scissors GitHub up. Let me see here. All right. So what we're gonna do now, here's what I had this thought, right before I started, right? I had this crazy thought. I'm like, yesterday, let me put the timer up because time is money and we have got things to do. We're gonna go with 25 minutes. All right, cool. So what I thought, right? Because yesterday we did this in our Terraform live stream where we started up the rock paper scissors through Terraform. So I'm like, well, if we're going to be working on the rock paper scissors challenge, we need to patch our knowledge, our information together so we can get it to stick, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go through the whole Terraform documentation, but I am going to start up. I'm going to start up the rock paper scissors challenge through Terraform. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to start it up locally. So that way we get to practice, our Terraform commands. And then we also get to practice using Docker on our local environment as well. So with that being said, we're just like, we have to continue to use everything that we're learning to the best of our advantage, because, I guess if you don't use it, you lose it. All right. So with that being said, I am going to, so let's get it started, right? I'm going to go to this screen. So in case you missed it yesterday, we were doing a bunch of stuff in Terraform. We tried to set up VPCs, got an error. So we're going to look into that. I think on the Udemy course, I saw a note about that error, so I'm going to look into that a little bit more deeper. But this is our code for Terraform to get the EC2 instance started, and and what I did yesterday was I just extracted. I can just change which script I want to run. So I just put it in here. So this is going to start up the rock paper scissors challenge, and then at the end of all of that stuff that it's doing, it's going to output us the IP addresses that we can access the EC2 instance, so we can do our rock paper scissors challenge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a Terraform apply, and we're going to say yes. And while it's doing its thing, we will swoop back over to the rock paper scissors challenge, so we can get a brief overview. Because what Terraform is doing right now, if you missed the show yesterday, and if you haven't been tuning into the Terraform live streams, it is setting up our infrastructure. So it's going to create the EC2 instance, log into it, install Docker, and then it's going to pull in the repo for the rock paper scissors challenge. It's going to install all the requirements for the Python script, and then it's going to start it up on Docker, and then we should be able to access it. If we had to do that through like manually logging into the EC2 instance, it would probably take us like 15-20 minutes just to get that far, and so we'll see how long it takes us to get done through there. But the rock paper scissors challenge, where are we now? So now we're gonna start like making sure that the application is up, and then we're going to where is it? Test requirements. Test that the API is up and running. Test that the API returns a 400 for invalid choice. Test API returns a valid response for each valid weapon choice. Right. So we are going to start off with our positive tests. Well, first let's start out. Well, let me see. It's a small application, right? But I would generally like doing like a health check page, But that's fine. We will, because like I would want a health check page. I would say when you go to like health, like /health or something, it would say application or status up, right? But no biggie. You know what? I'll reach out to Don, and I'll say, hey, what do you think about making this enhancement, right? Actually, what we'll do is maybe not today, because time is running, but we can probably put in a feature request through GitHub, that we can get that taken care of, right? So what we're gonna do, we are gonna go to. All right, so we're gonna start off with the make sure it's up and running. We're gonna start off with the positive test, and then we're gonna take care of our negative test, and then we have our game logic, and then we will get into our randomness test. We'll see how far we get, But this is all part of the plan. This is why we do this in the morning, so we can continue to get experience. We can continue to get practice. All right. So let's go to. All right. So our Terraform is done. Completion after 1 minute and 32 seconds. So it took like 92 seconds to do all of this stuff. So, and the beauty of automation infrastructure as code, what it would take us to do in 15, 20, like if you're really 10 to 20 minutes, we're able to get it done in 90 seconds, and there are no errors because automation is repeatable. So let's copy this IP real quick, and let's swoop back over to this screen. So our first test, right? Oh, by the way, there is this tool called Talon API Tester. It is like built into Chrome. So um, it's not as powerful as Postman or Insomnia, but it is a quick and easy tool to use straight from the Chrome browser. I will link it into the chat as well as into the description. So um, I use this at work for like quick testing. And the good thing about it is if you're logged into a site, it'll share that API session as well. So, or it'll share that authentication session, right? So let's check this out right quick. If I go here and we do our port 8080 and we send, there's no HTTPS, that's why. All right, so we do that and we send. So 404 not found, but we're getting something, right? So if we do API play, all right, so 404 method not allowed. So to me, that says the system is up, right? But I'd rather have like a health page, like something like this. And you do that, then it'll tell you like status up, right? Telling you the health of the application. But that's something that we can chat with. We'll put in a feature request for that. So let's do this, right? So we'll leave it as that. And what I'm going to do, let's switch to Terraform. And let's do all right. So here inside of this, let's zoom in real quick so you can have a better view. All right. So I want to import my testing framework. So I want to do, let's go and get the Python package of should I switch it up a bit? Should I use PyTest or should I use I'm gonna try it with always coming up with these ideas. I want to which one do I want to do? PyTest or we'll do PyTest and then maybe I'll do another one because PyTest is like it's a common one and let's go with the common for now. But then, another day I might do like behave and create like a separate make a copy of this and then do it using behave using feature files and stuff like that because that is another great opportunity to get into some testing stuff and exploring new packages, getting your mind stimulated. So import PyTest, and let's say we do so Py. Let me take a look at the documentation of PyTest real quick. So, all right. So inside of PyTest, so I'm gonna rename my file though to have underscores because sometimes it matters. And I remember in PyTest I was using it one time and it kind of mattered, but we'll leave it as that for now. And all right, so test. I know you got to do so we're gonna try running a quick test, right? So we have the documentation. I'm gonna come back over here and I'm gonna do we're gonna do the final function and we're going to say test application is up. And I just like to be very descriptive with my method names, right? And we're just gonna do for now we're just gonna do print, make sure test is running, right? And format the file. Okay, so I'm just going to run this to make sure that this is actually going to find the test. Yes, it did. Cool. So it found the test, and now I can actually do my test, right? So we're going to do here. Let's do health status is equal to, we're going to do request dot, just do a get. Because if we get a 405, then that means the application should be up and running because it's telling us the method is not allowed. So we're going to do, because this is going to be changing. So let's do, I'm going to set up a base. Set up a base URL where I'm going to give that the IP address of the instance, because if we switch to localhost, then I can just change this to localhost, or if it changes to another IP. And here's the thing, right? With Terraform, we could actually have Terraform write this IP address out to a file, right? Where or have this pull up from a location, which would be where Terraform is writing the IP address that changes. Because every time we shut down the like we do a Terraform destroy, then it's going to give us a new IP, and then we can just have it pull in from there, But I'm just getting ahead of myself. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna say base URL, and we're gonna say, let's put in a F string here, like that. And we're going to say port 8080, and we're going to say API/play, right? And I'll say health status response, right? And then I'm going to say assert that health status response dot status code is equal to 405. And if it's not 405, I like to write this out saying expected status code 405 and actual status code, and could probably just do this like that. Let's go like that. I just don't like to, I don't want to have to type this twice. Maybe it's just OCD type thing, but here we go. And we're going to go like that, and put a F string here. All right, cool. So we have that. Probably put one here too, just for cleanliness, right? So let's run this test real quick. And now that should tell us if this test actually passed, right? Anything else? Cool. So let's say we give it a run and it passed. So now let's check real quick to see if it was like a different code, right? Change this real quick like that, just for this, and we go here. And now it gives us an error saying that it was it expected a 400, was actually a 405, which is what we wanted, but just for showing you the difference, right? So we have this first test completed. All right, so now I'm gonna move this one, the positive. I like to do my positive test first because it's really important to make sure the application is running, right? So we now say we need the request body, or let's say rock, paper, scissors, requests, right? And that's going to be a dictionary of, let's take a look at the documentation real quick. Oh, where is our body? So choice, all right? So pretty simple, just choice and then the choice of, so we're gonna do choice. And then let's just do rock for now, right? And let's say, let's call that request body. And now we're going to say, let's see. So, send request. Actually, I don't want to do it that way. What I want to do is I want to define a function, but well, just for now, we're going to leave it like that, right? Because, so this is going to be a new function though. So this is going to be here, define test rock as weapon, right? And we're going to go like that. And now we're going to go here and we're going to say, so rock weapon response equals, we're going to do request dot post, and we're going to say the endpoint is going to be the base URL. So back to me hating to write the same things over and over and over again. What I'm going to do now is to make it a little bit cleaner by going to here. And I'm going to go to play endpoint. And that's going to be that. So that. And now I can just, and I'm just refactoring a little bit just to make the code a little bit more cleaner, you know? So now I can just use the play endpoint all the time. I don't have to like type the same thing over and over again, right? So play endpoint, and then we're going to pass the request of RPS request body. And make sure post would be URL, data. What type of data? Well, we'll give it a try and see what happens, right? So we are going to do, we're going to, because I want separate tests, right? So I want to do test rock as weapon. Well, okay, I'll come back. So I'm just thinking ahead, right? But I'll come back to that. So now let's do an assert. I'll do rock paper scissors status code equals rock paper response status code, right? So assert that the rock status code is equal to, I think it's 202. I think it's 202, but we can figure that out. Or we can just go and to here and go to talent, and we do a API play, and then we're going to do a post request, and we're going to do choice rock. $200, right? But while we're here, let's do a quick check. What if we do like this? Will that still work? Oh yeah, good job. Good job, Mr. Don at Chaos Camp. Cool, perfect. So that means we can but I still will add tests around that as well because we do want to make sure about case sensitivity, you know. But all good. So we have that. So it's a 200 status code. So we're gonna go back over here and we're gonna say 200 instead of 202. And we should also want to validate that the weapon of the computer as well as so what I'll do, I'll just write out the test here, right? And then we can always extract it later to make it a little bit more comprehensive, you know? So I'll write all the tests in here and then I'll write all the assertions and then we'll see if we need to break them out anymore, right? So let's do this. So we do that and we do expected results, expected status code 200. And this is to just like write out if there are any this is to write out if there are like if it fails, what's the cause of the failure. So it's like so you can have some type of documentation so you can know what to investigate. And it'll only show up if it fails. It'll only do this if it fails, right? That, and then we are gonna do that and like that. Perfect. So if we run this again, actually no, we don't want it to because if it fails, then it's going to so we can't do it on the status code because if it fails, you're not always gonna get a two. You might get a well, no, you always get a 200. You're just not gonna get a win. So okay, never mind. Never mind. That's my bad. I was only thinking about the victory, right? So, but the 200 doesn't declare victory; it just declares that the response or that the request was valid. You know, so that means we can go here and let's go and let's run it again. And what's the problem? 422. So that is because I did something wrong. I think it's because of this, right? I think this has to be JSON. Let me see. Let's try it. If not, then I have to turn it into. Okay, so that's what it was. That second one is data, which is for like what is that? It's like when you have like authorization and stuff like that. So if we wanted to do it that way, we would probably have to go this, maybe like that, maybe. But I don't want to do that. Let's just go with JSON that way. And there we have it. So when we run it again, have our status code to 200. I want to add another assertion. This is the part I was talking about that we might split it out even more, but you know, we'll see. So we also want to do, and I'll just because time is running right now, I'm just gonna put it straight in here, and then we'll refactor later. Weapon response. And we want your weapon to be equal to rock. And so time is up, but let's just finish this test real quick. And let's write it out. F expected result, expected weapon, rock, and actual weapon. So if it fails, we want it to give us the actual weapon that it used. So there we have it. And let's just go to a new line. New line. So let's run that. Because then when it comes to like the computer weapon and the winner, we're going to have that validation for that. But we can stop right here for today because our time is up. But let's give it a run. And this failed. Why did this fail? So let's see. Why did that fail? Let's comment that out. Let's run it again. Something in there. Probably have something in here then. It is. Oh, you know what? .json. That's what it is. So now if you run it. Yep, perfect. So yeah, I had to get the JSON response of it or the JSON body and then go into the weapon path and we're able to see it. So if we said this would be like paper, run it one more time, then we should have. So I also have to put JSON in here, and that's why I don't like to. Like when you have to write repetitive code, then you just put yourself in danger of making mistakes, right? So run it one more time. All right, so we have. Here we go. So we're expecting rock, but we had paper. All right, so there we have it, and that's it. So let's fix it again. Let's give it one more run. Actually, just stays this way. Just to see it passing, we can leave it in a passing state. And the next time we'll just refactor this because I hate having the same thing over and over and over again. Like it shouldn't be that way. So, and we'll think of other ways to make it like a little bit even better as we go on. Right. So we run it. We're passing. So now that's done. We are going to go back to Terraform. And we are going to do a Terraform destroy. And then on Wednesday, we'll continue running it from our local Docker, right? So let's get rid of that. We are destroying, and we're going to say yes to destroy. And while it's doing that, we can come back to our home screen. Cool. So that is it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you found this very helpful and informative. And, this is why I do this. You can see how I pieced together what we did in Terraform yesterday to working on this Chaos Camp challenge. And, it's just putting everything like my goal is to find a way to put everything that we're learning together to make it so you can have practical examples, practical understandings of what we're doing, why we're doing it that way. And in the morning to also challenge our minds, stimulate our brains, to get better, to, continuous improvement, continuous growth every single day. All right. So same way we have continuous integration and continuous deployment, continuous delivery in our tech stacks, we need to have it for our minds as well. So we can continue to grow, continue to get better and everything like that. Right. So tune in to Candid Conversations coming out at 12 p.m. Eastern time today. It's going to be a very good one. I'm asking you a question. How hard are you working? How many hours are you putting in a day? We got to do better. We got to get to our goals. We have to crush it. That's the spirit. That's the mindset. And we can go from there. But till next time, if you haven't done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, check out the Patreon. And on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.